There are over 20,000 RV fires every year in this country.
Are you ready if it happens to you?
Oh, geez. Fire's out.
RV fires are a big fear for us, and they've been a big fear for us before we even got our RV.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these things are built mostly out of wood and flammable materials.
Yeah, and
they go up quick.
Yeah, and this thing holds pretty much everything that we own.
Yeah. So in this video, obviously it's about RV fires, but more importantly, how to prevent them, how to use your fire extinguishers.
What to look for in a proper fire extinguisher. Because there are different types out there.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk to you about smoke detectors.
And a new fire suppression system that we had installed just a couple months ago at the rally in Indiana.
That hopefully we never need. There are some common areas and causes for RV fires, one of them being the refrigerator.
Right, this type of refrigerator, it's an RV refrigerator. If you watched our RV refrigeration maintenance video, you know that these types of fridges work off of heat. That heat source can be electrical through 120 or it can be through propane. You've got an actual burning open flame to run this refrigerator. So obviously that can be a major contributor to RV fire.
What are some other areas?
Well, anything electrical. Obviously, there's lots of electrical components and things in an RV. But
there are
DC,
a ton of wires back in there. If you haven't taken this thing apart, you don't know, but there's a mess of wires.
Yeah, and there's both AC and DC. Either one of those can cause a fire under the right circumstances. We've also got a big battery compartment. Batteries, depending on the type you have, if you have AGM or flooded cell, those need to be sealed and vented because those batteries, when they charge, off-gas hydrogen. And if you've ever seen the Hindenburg, remember the Hindenburg? I mean, we weren't there.
Right.
We now have lithium ion, so that's not an issue for us, but your battery compartment is one source of fire.
Another one is the water heater.
The water heater can work off of electric or propane also.
And on the motorized RVs, your Class A, B, and C's, the engine.
Right. I mean, it's a combustion engine. You have flammable liquids in there called gasoline or diesel. Those are going to be much more of an issue while driving because it's running and generating heat. Also, your generator is an engine. So that can be a possible source of fire.
Bottom line is there are a lot of different areas in your RV in such a small space that can cause fires.
Right. We don't want to freak you out, but you're living in a tinderbox.
Basically, we want you to be prepared.
That's right. A little side note on the topic of gas when it comes to your refrigerators or anything is this little thing. If you watched some of our previous videos, we've mentioned this. This is called a gas stop, and its sole purpose is to shut your gas off in the event of a catastrophic failure of your lines cut, things like that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, your system does not completely cut off. We have a video on it. We'll link that above and below. And I am going to release it. Now you hear the OPD valve or the EFV valve kick in. That's propane leaking.
Well, let's jump into talking about the different types of fire extinguishers that you might have in your RV or that you might get for your RV.
Our RV came with a total of 2 fire extinguishers. This one was by the front door and this one was in the garage. And that's it. You don't want to limit yourself to those 2 fire extinguishers. They're the bare minimum. You want to take some extra steps and give yourself a little more ammunition if you have to put out a fire.
Right, and I actually remember watching an RV for beginners course years ago where the instructor said this little guy is really meant to just put out the flames enough so you can get out the door.
Right. Not
to put out fire. So this one, although handy, not going to probably put out your fire.
Yeah, marshmallow fire. Put out a marshmallow fire. Your most common types of fire extinguishers are going to be rated for A, B, or C, preferably all 3 of those. A is for solids, paper, wood, things like that. B is going to be for liquids, gasoline,
fuels,
tiki torches, I don't know, what
anything
liquids,
flammable,
anything liquid flammable. And C is electrical. So you want to make sure that your fire extinguisher is the proper type. Now, the kind that we have are ABC, we thought, until we actually went and really looked at this tiny one that was by our front door. They're all going to have this type of indication on the bottom. You can see this one is B and C. Did I get those right? Yeah, B and C only. Whereas this one is ABC, and you're going to see some of the ones that we've purchased are also ABC. Other types of class of fire extinguisher you're going to hear about maybe would be D and K. Those are for metal, like
fires and stuff.
D is for like a metals, like magnesium fire. If you have a magnesium fire in your RV, run away fast.
Run away! Run away! Run away!
Just run.
Yeah.
And the K, I think, is for like deep
Commercial,
fat fryers.
yeah.
So generally, most households and RVs, you're going to have ABC.
We actually have a bunch of fire extinguishers, one in every room.
You want to think about where you're going to be if a fire breaks out, and you could be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be in the bedroom and the nearest fire extinguisher is in the garage. Again, depending on your RV layout, just plan and think about where you want them. We have one in the bedroom. We have one here in the kitchen/living room, which has been upgraded from this tiny thing to a bigger one. And we have one in our garage. That's inside the RV. On the outside of the RV, we've got one in the basement on both sides. One on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. And those are these larger ones, 5-pound ABC extinguishers.
We also have one in the truck.
Right. So how many is that total? One in the truck, 2 in the
6.
basement.
It's 6.
3 in here.
6.
We have 6.
6.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some maintenance for your fire extinguishers.
Right. There are instructions in every bottle. Read them, follow them. Pretty straightforward.
Instructions.
And they're tiny, so if you're old like us,
Oh yeah.
You'll want to get one of these things. That's a light and a magnifying glass because we can't
it's
read.
bad. Our eyes are bad.
I always used to make fun of my parents for reading their menus out like this.
Yeah.
Not anymore, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Most of them, as far as operation is concerned, are pretty straightforward. You pull the pin, you point to the base of the fire, and you shoot it and you put out the fire, hopefully. And they even have those are the biggest instructions on here. As far as maintenance goes, there's not a whole lot to really do to these, but you do want to inspect them. And again, it's going to be on the side of the fire extinguisher. Just follow it. For ours, they're all pretty much the same. They all say check the nozzle, whether that be on the hose or the end of it. They say check the retaining pin and the seal and the pressure. Most of your better fire extinguishers will have a pressure gauge on there, and it has to be in the green. This little guy here doesn't have a gauge, but you're supposed to push this and it should pop back out. Yeah, I'm not gonna push it and it should pop back out. But this is just stuff we've learned.
Yeah, you guys know we're not experts at this stuff. We just did a lot of research and we've talked to some experts and sharing it with you guys.
Right. And speaking of experts, we've been told and have heard that these things tend to settle, and with the RV shaking, the powder can settle. Now, none of these ones that we have say anything about shaking them or turning them upside down, but I did notice that on this larger one, when I turned it upside down for the first time in about a month, I could hear that the powder inside was kind of moving up and down as more of a solid piece, but even after it sits for a while, it settles a little bit. So it certainly can't hurt to just kind of turn it upside down, give it a little turn. I don't know if you need to shake it.
I don't think that I would do that, but
I don't think you want to make a cocktail.
I think from going down the road at 60 miles an hour and all the bouncing around, it just can kind of pack down.
Now, all of these will say, at least ours say, to do this inspection monthly. You want to do that at a minimum. So if you're stationary in your RV, you want to check them monthly. We recommend that if you're moving every couple of weeks like we are, make it part of your setup process. Once you get camp set up, go check all your extinguishers, make sure they didn't bang around and
Make
something
sure the
come
pressure's
loose.
still good.
Yeah. They're easy things to check, right? Look at the pressure. I don't think anything's going to get in the hole here while you're driving, but at least check the pressure. Maybe give them a little turn. Another thing to be aware of is how old is your fire extinguisher. These small ones that are disposable and not rechargeable are good for about 11 or 12 years, and most of them will have a date stamp somewhere on them, or at least a year stamp. I think this one was 17, that one's 18. If you're not sure what the date code means, go to the website for that particular manufacturer and look it up. Now, the rechargeable ones, these are 12 years, 11 or 12. These are generally 6 years. And these rechargeable ones, I did a little research on this, and it used to be you could take these to almost any fire station and get them recharged. You don't want to try to do it yourself. I don't even know how you would do that. but these days it's probably more cost effective to just chuck it and buy a new one.
Yeah.
If you can recharge it, do that. I mean, it's less stuff in a landfill, but
How do you recharge those things?
with a recharger, I don't know.
Oh.
They recharge it somehow.
Hey, comment below if you know how they recharge these things.
Yeah.
Curious.
The metal, any of them with metal dispensers like this, those are rechargeable generally, and these plastic ones are not. Most of your rechargeable ones are going to have a gauge. Got to be in the green.
A lot of you have probably heard about the recall on the Kitty brand extinguishers.
Yeah, Kitty and I think First Alert are some of the biggest, but Kitty is a huge fire extinguisher manufacturer, and they recalled, I think it's going back
40
to
million, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
In 2017, they did a recall of 40 million fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
All of the ones that were recalled were ones with plastic handles. We'll put a picture on the screen. But if you're not sure, go to the link below and check your serial number against it and the description, and make sure yours isn't bad, because there's nothing worse than a fire and an impotent fire extinguisher.
So let's talk smoke detectors. These guys here.
Yeah. Our RV came with 2 smoke detectors. One in here. Where'd it go?
Over there.
Oh, over there. One in here in the main room, and one in the garage.
It's actually in the little, I call it the hallway, but it's in between the main room and the bedroom.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of meant to cover both rooms, which is fine, but again, you're going to get what's required and you're going to get the minimum. If you watched our Ring alarm system video, you'll know that we replaced our smoke detectors with these guys. These are made by First Alert, and they're Z-Wave, and they connect to our Ring alarm system. We replaced the one in here and the one in the garage, and we also put one in our bedroom.
Not too long ago, we had something pretty scary happen to us on a travel day. We were just driving down the road, a normal travel day, and all of a sudden, Ring alarm, Ring is alarming.
Smoke alarm in the office.
We both started getting alerts on our phone from the Ring alarm system saying smoke detection in the office. We call it the office, that's just how we labeled it, but it was coming from the garage. And luckily we had the opportunity to pull right off the side of the road, and we jumped out and we went and checked to see what was going on.
It turned out to be a false alarm, but it got us thinking, holy cow, these things are tied into our Ring alarm. Our Ring alarm is connected to our internet system, which is on all the time because it's even running down the road. This thing told our Ring alarm told Central whatever, and we got alerts on our phones. So just recently we added 2 more of these guys, one in our basement and one in our front bay, because why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're driving down the road and a fire starts anywhere in here or down there, we're going to be alerted. We can pull over and maybe get a jump on whatever's wrong.
Yeah, I think that what happened recently was maybe some exhaust or something that got into the garage.
Yeah, we're not really sure what caused the false alarm, but you know, I'd rather have a false alarm every now and then than no alarm ever.
And this has been the first time that we've had a false alarm. So
yeah, it took us completely by surprise.
Thankfully, everything was fine. Just got our hearts going a little bit.
And that's another good reason to have some fire extinguishers accessible from the outside. Had I run back there and saw a fire, I could have gotten to the fire extinguisher quickly and tried to do whatever we could do.
Probably should have grabbed it out of the truck as you were running back to the office. Just saying.
Yep, in hindsight, that might have been a good idea to take the fire extinguisher with me to the potential fire, but you know, I was dubious about the fact that there might have been a fire.
So we know the RVs aren't very big, but you still have to have escape routes.
Right, what if there's a super engulfing fire in this room and we're in bed? Know where your fire escapes are and how to use them. Ours are all pretty simple. There's a little pop window, you push it out and you jump out.
Yeah.
Now, these RVs are pretty high off the ground.
we might break something jumping out, but at least we'll be alive. So.
It's better to have a broken leg and not be on fire than to be on fire.
Well said, Chad. So everything we've talked about so far has been fire suppression that you do yourself. Right. Now, what happens if a fire breaks out in your RV and you're not around to put it out, and your fur babies are here or your loved ones are here and you can't do anything to help them? That scares me to death.
Yeah, Daisy can't operate a fire extinguisher. She's got no thumbs.
No. I think we've probably all seen those horrible
Yeah.
stories and videos of RVs catching fire and the furry loved ones passing away in the fire, and it's
Right.
it's gut-wrenching to even think about.
There was actually one online recently that was also a toy hauler that they were out four-wheeling and RTVing and they had their pets, and the pets didn't make it.
Yeah. So we wanted to figure out, what are we going to do to prevent that from happening to Daisy and prevent our home from burning down.
Right. And this, this really applies not just to full-timers. You could be out on a weekend trip and your pets are inside or your kids
Right.
are inside. So this is all really important. You might not go to the extent that we have because this is our home, but things to think about.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Right.
Fuel for the fire.
Oh my gosh.
So what got us thinking about automatic fire suppression versus just having fire extinguishers was a video by Big Truck Big RV. JD has a really great channel. Talks about big trucks and big RVs most of the time. And he had a video on a thing called Proteng. And don't try to make sense of that word, it's just a word. It got me looking into automatic fire suppression in general. And what I found is pretty much everything on the market for automatic fire suppression, besides Proteng, was something a little bit like this. It was a bottle with a single point of detection and discharge of the fire suppressant, which is okay, but it's not as good as what we're going to show you. But what really sets Proteng apart from those other single point suppression systems is it's a tube. It's kind of really unique. So obviously this is not a Proteng, this is a vacuum hose. But our Proteng is
Our
already...
Protengs are installed already.
Right, and we don't have one to just use as a demo. But imagine that this is a tube filled with a liquid called FM2000. It's a fire suppressant. And the cool thing about this is you could have this installed, wrapped around. When we go outside, I'll show you our refrigerator. It goes up and over, and any point of the tube can be your point of detection and discharge. So if the fire is over on this end, it melts a hole there and extinguishes the fire from that point, which is typically the point you want to have it, where the fire is. And that's really the genius of the design. It was born in Europe in
the
racing cars.
industry, right?
Yeah. Obviously, they wanted to protect their super expensive race cars, and it was only brought over to the United States about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so they're still kind of a work in progress over here, I think.
It's a really cool product, but it's a pretty new company, and we're going to give you some resources down below to get more information, to get an install. Now, it is installer only. When they first brought it over to the US, it was kind of a self-install thing. Because of the complexities involved with the different types of spaces and how big they are, they only do professional install now.
We are not affiliated with them at all. We paid full price for all of our tubes.
Right.
So-
No free products, there's no
Yeah.
affiliation, there's no special links or anything like that.
We really just want to share it with you guys because we think it's important.
To me, it's a really neat idea, and it's a cool product. We had it installed by JC Mooney, who was at the Grand Design National Rally in August.
Yes, JC and his wife, Babe, are both on a lot of the Grand Design forums, so many of you might be aware of who they are already.
Also, Marcia and Bobby Beckhold. You'll find JC and Marcia quite a bit on the Grand Design forums when fire topics come up talking about it.
Right.
They're both certified installers and resellers. There's a bunch more, obviously, than just those two.
Yeah, we'll put their names too in the description below so that you have that for a reference.
Right.
JC did a presentation while we were at the Grand Design Rally last month, and he also did a demo.
Yeah, the demo was really cool. We'll put a couple of demo links in the description. The demo he did, it was neat. It was basically a box with a fire in it, and just put it out and extinguished the fire, and there was still flammable liquid in there after it was done. So
Yeah. JC also was the one who did the installation for us. One thing that I really liked about the Proteng is that it's a clean agent, FM 200 I believe is what it's called, but that means it is safe and non-toxic for people, pets, and the planet.
if I go shoot this on a fire, it's going to leave a mess.
Yeah.
A lot of times putting out a fire ruins things more than the fire itself.
True.
So the fact that these things try to put out the fire without you even being there and do it quickly and cleanly,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Now, a couple of notes about this. It's not the type of device you can just put in every room and it's going to put out any fire. It's designed for small enclosed areas. So it goes in your RV in the places that are most susceptible, like we talked about, the engine, the battery compartment.
The refrigerator.
They're behind the refrigerator. We had it put in our front bay where our batteries and all of our electrical stuff is, and the generator. We also have one in the basement where all the wiring is, and that again is kind of neat because the tube runs across the entire back there and loops up behind our distribution panel. So it covers that entire area. If it's a long tube wrapping that whole area, the point where the fire is, where the highest heat is where it's going to also discharge. So hopefully you saw in the demo that it's boom, it's like pow, it's out.
Yeah.
So we had it there. We also had it put behind our refrigerator. It wraps up and over because all the electrical and propane stuff is down below, and if the fire goes up, it's gonna activate it.
Right, but only the areas where the Proteng is installed are covered.
It's not gonna stop every instance of fire. It's there in the most common areas. And you know, it's not guaranteed, but there's a good chance they could put it out, and as long as there's a chance, to us it's worth it.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Our install with the 4 tubes with a 15% discount was $1,400.10.
Yeah, that discount was a rally discount too.
Right. FMCA members are eligible for up to a 20% discount. So if you have a motorized and you're FMCA, and I think FMCA is also starting to allow some towables into the mix, you might look into that. There is a warranty on the product itself. It's 2+2. So when you get it installed, they take a picture of the serial number and it's installed, and it's guaranteed for 2 years. You can get it recertified for another 2 years at that point by taking it to one of the installer and having them recertify it. And I think you can also get it self-recertified by taking pictures and sending them in, showing the serial number and that it's still installed.
Right now it's October 2019. If you're watching this sometime in 2020, they may have changed things.
And just as a general note along those lines, whenever things like that do change, we do update the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching this on our blog/website, we will update it there also.
Yeah.
And that also goes for the links and contact information. Like I said, this is kind of a new company. I think they're still kind of getting their feet on the ground as far as installers and getting a good distribution network going. This company is out of Jupiter, Florida, so I believe you can get it installed there, or at least find an installer in Florida. Our only expectation of it is that there's a chance.
Yeah.
It'll hopefully put out a fire. It's certainly better than having nothing.
And it's a little bit more peace of mind for us, and thinking about when we leave little Daisy by herself, when we go out for an adventure or something like that, we know that we have a little bit more security built into our RV to prevent something from happening.
Right.
So we know all of this might sound like overkill, but for us, our lives are in this box, and it's very important for us to do everything that we can to make sure everything is safe and protected.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a weekend warrior, are you going to spend $1,500 on a fire suppression system? It's a good idea,
Yeah.
But if you go out twice a year, you might not. But take some of the other things that we talked about, the fire extinguishers, the smoke detectors. Those things aren't that expensive. You can get those and put them around. You can upgrade your smoke detectors or add more of them.
Yeah. We're not trying to scare anybody. We just wanted to give you guys the facts that we have found out so far
Just the
to keep
facts.
you informed. Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for outtakes. We often make stupid mistakes.
We do, especially him. Just saying. Don't forget to click the like button and hit subscribe.
Clicking that like button tells YouTube you like our video. That helps us.
It does. So does following us on Instagram and Facebook, and checking out our website, changinglanesrv.com.
Additionally, we're going to be putting some blog posts together that are updates to older videos. So as things change, like our inverter is now different, our batteries are now different, look for those on the website.
Check them out. Here come the outtakes.
An RV fire.
Grace.
Oh, you get him, Daisy.
Yeah.
Are you prepared? Follow.
Wow. There are over 20,000 fires. Nope.
Yeah. Everything we own is in this box.
That's what I just said.
I know. I just didn't know what else to say there. You want to think about where are you going to be when a fire breaks out? Are you going to... Get ready. Smile. Smile. So, please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already.
Smash it.
Additionally, we're going to start putting some videos and blog posts out there that are updates to older videos. So as things
We are?
change, I meant to talk to you about this.
Oh, he forgot to cover it with his editor, but that's okay.
Well, I thought so. That's an idea I had.
And this is why I don't like it when the way you fold your shirts, because you got a crease down. You had a crease down the center the last video, and now you have a crease down this one.
I'll just do it like this.
Okay. There are over 20,000 RV fires every year in this country.
That's like every 2.5 hours, guys. Are you prepared for that? Hold on. I'm wearing red for fire.
I mean, we've not even done the intro yet.
Okay, let's go.